Salutations, thanks for coming. Welcome to these days of Elijah, which are days of Ambrosia. How much I feel. And it's time to salute them and the love that they have stirred up amongst the lands. How did it all start? Thinking that somebody had been untrue. It was true. Christianity grabbed the Hebrew book and said, we are Israel, and all the prophecy was for us. Don't believe it. Better party. And for that reason, Israel became all worthy of only hell. And in the latter days, Jeremiah foretells of Jeremiah 31:1, in the latter days would their covenant be given to them and not be separated anymore. So they could never break away from him ever again. Days of Ambrosia. So it's time. He has given them a sign so that they can realize that all Israel has been saved in one day. If people could only feel his words, for he is love speaking, how much he loves, saying, I am your God, you are my people, I have forgiven you, I will never remember it again. And if he did, his word would be a lie, and his Bible would be toilet paper. So it's time to realize that God cannot lie. And in this hour, it's time to celebrate that truth. As we realize that God is breaking chains by his love. It's now the hour of his power, designed to do two things. It's designed to get us to reverse our curse, play the song again, and play it with harmony, and play it with music, and play it with love. Because as we turn back the song, we can give ourselves a fresh start. And when that happens, we can get along in the sandbox together. And so now it's the hour of God's greatest power of love that's destined to do something great. It'll cause wisdom to shine in proportion to our awareness of our own ignorance and apathy. And secondly, his most fervent power will be catching millions of us on fire with his love ablaze as he becomes the trailblazers that light our wicks that have almost gone out. And as he pours his forgiveness upon everyone, calling earth home, and then shall the enthusiastic, the passionate be inflamed with love, and that'll cause others to come just to see them burn. It'll become like a sideshow of the Lord's adoration for all of us, so that we can see how much he means to us, and so that we can believe that an ounce of divine love is worth many pounds of old stuffy old doctrines that have little importance to the overflowing blazing fire of Christ's revealed end-time love with no conditions. For he says, I am your God, you are my people, I have forgiven you, and I won't remember. What conditions is there, people? I ask you, leave me a comment. And so really now it's the time to see that blazing flame of adoration, he causes no demands, no expectation, and no dependency on anything other than love brought forth by his Spirit of life. So as he can be as their fuel, as all of our fuel, so that we can be the wise ladies waiting for the wedding to begin. So let the wedding begin. And know that no matter how bleak and chaotic things have seemed, the prophetic moment of moments has finally come, when the Lord's dove of the ages is saying to everyone, he's saying these are the days when the wheat will be divided from the chaff, as the Lord's harvest of love grinds. And so shall it be that the loving spirits of men will not receive gross darkness anymore as it disappears. For there is no darker gross darkness than ignorance of love alone. And only then will man's hopes finally be reborn, so we can clearly see that hatred does not create by hatred, but by misunderstood love that must both find definition and restoration, so hatred can finally be erased by the ambrosia of his love. So arise, all lovers of love, and wrap your heads and your heart of hearts around his truth, that prayer is the only way to destroy all fear and to banish our deepest sorrow. For prayer alone lights the torch of hope into becoming the Lord's brightest revolution of our own loving empowerment, as our kindness is set free, because it is the language that the dumb understand and the stupid can easily see, as he forgives us and comforts us with the warmest of his hug, for he is our everlasting love. So let the wise now know that people were made to be loved, and all things were created to be used, but everything has become backwards. And when things are loved and people are used, it's not good. So beware, therefore, of cloaked sincerity that's like nothing but a flea circus, serving the pride of speakers of lies, the false true prophets, calling the false ones like me evil. Woe unto those calling good evil and evil good. The truth alone makes love possible, and only love makes love bearable alone. So let the enlightened finally come to see that the measure of good character is how mankind reacts to our dark times. Once we realize that hardships make us strong as problems give birth unto wisdom. So blessed are all those whose sorrows cultivate by compassion, and they'll discover how much they really have felt as they let their love loose without boundaries, as those who have suffered can become the most happiness. So it's time for the just to see that if they light a lantern for another, it will also light their way. But also comprehend that no one can sidestep darkness, for it is the throne light alone that sits upon the throne. As I turn off my music and say goodbye. Oh, now I lost my channel. Lost my channel. Not good. But one thing is for sure, I have to reiterate and I have to stress that the truest truth in this time of the beautiful music of heaven playing, that the Lord is desiring to do something new for all of us, to change the channel one last time, to give us hope for a new era of the kingdom age of love, the new age of Aquarius love. And so along the way, we need to see that if we light a lantern for another, it will also brighten our own way. But also we got to see that it's the throne of light that sits upon, but for any soul that has not known sadness and struggle, there is no chance of them inheriting the dawn of the Son of Righteousness. For love and pain cultivates our love. So our Lion of Zion, our Carpenter of the Ages, he now says, I am not a Christian, I am not a Muslim, and I am not Jewish. Well, he is Jewish, but not in the present. He is glorified at this moment. He holds no religion, declares the Lord. He is the good shepherd over all the flocks of man. And he now declares, therefore, all flesh, let them all love truth, as they let all others have their truth. For my truth is much higher truth, for I am love everlasting, the everlasting Father for all, under Jehovah Nisi's banner of love for absolutely all flesh. And I am he whose creation is all space, all time, both present and future, all dimensions and all life seen and unseen. And now more than ever, the Lord says, my absolute truth expects man to be honest with himself enough to confess that there has been hidden darkness left within us, and therefore, well before truth can set anyone free, they must become miserable as they first became, when they first became a hypocritical accuser of the Lord's sword prophet Daniel. So to turn around, start liking this channel of his love if you want to see it prospered. And if you don't, you're nothing but an antichrist anal retentive flub flub flub.